somewhere on the trail here, and I was recently tagged by the Texas Hikeaholics in a video of asking what is your favorite backpacking trip. And I actually sat around and gave this a lot of thought because of all the trips. It was really hard to narrow it down to just one. And I really kind of came up with the top three and then narrowed that down to one. And probably one of my favorites was early on was where I found Jackie on the Ozark Trail, and probably the second was my first through hike of the Ozark Highlands Trail. But my absolute favorite hike was last June. I went to Colorado with my son Charlie, and we initially intended to do Lost Man Loop, which is kind of between Leadville and Aspen. And we got up there and it was just all really snowed in. We couldn't find the trail. We walked around for a long time, and so we decided to just bail out. And we went back across Independence Pass, down the other side of the mountain, back towards Leadville, and we just randomly pulled into a trailhead and had no idea what we were getting into, and the trail turned out to be La Plata Peak Trail, which is a 14er, which I had no idea, and I really didn't want to drag my son off to a really hard hike for his first trip. And but anyway, we got there and we decided to just walk in and check it out. And the first day we didn't have a lot of time. We kind of got there late, and so we walked in a little bit and we crossed this really dangerous little log bridge, and shortly after that it started going uphill quite a bit, and it was getting really late, so we decided to just turn around and go back across the bridge. We had seen a really great campsite, and so we went back over there, set up, and had our dinner, stashed our bear bin, and we spent the night there. We woke up the next morning, had breakfast, got everything packed up, and decided to head up the mountain and check it out. So we went back across the little log bridge thing and started heading up the mountain. And I didn't know this was going to happen, but it was literally all uphill all day, which was kind of a bad situation because I didn't want to drag my son. This was his first backpacking trip with me, and I really was trying to make it fun, and I knew Lost Man Loop wasn't quite as up and down, and being a loop, we were just going to hike in a little bit, probably not do the whole loop and come back. But anyway, we hiked and just kept going uphill and uphill all day, and I'll admit it was pretty hard, and he did very well. He didn't complain. We had to stop a lot, and there were some really sketchy areas, and to be quite honest with you, there were a few times where I thought that we were probably in over our head and we should turn around, and I kept asking him if he wanted to turn around, and he was insistent that he wanted to keep going. And anyway, we ran into a few hikers coming down, and they were telling us, you're not too far. If you keep going, you're going to come out, and all of a sudden it would flatten out, and there would be, a field and some flat spots. And so we pushed on, and finally, after about 4 or 5 hours, I guess, of nothing but uphill, we finally hit a meadow and found probably one of the best campsites I've ever had. I mean, it was an open shot right over to this beautiful mountain peak, and so we went ahead and dropped our gear there, and then we walked all over the place just seeing if there was anything better. If we could find a better spot, we might just go down and drag everything down there, because we really wanted to get the best spot. And anyway, we walked around for about an hour and looked at everything, and I think he was getting a little bit of altitude sickness at that point, because he said he was getting a slight headache, and anyway, had to sit down for a little bit. So I scouted the area, and went back and got him, and we went and looked at the spots that I'd found, and we decided that where we were was probably our best bet. And so we camped there all night. We stayed up late playing word games on my phone. I mean, we had just a ton of fun, and it rained a little bit that night, which was very concerning to me because I didn't want to go back down that same trail with mud, because I don't know how many of you guys have hiked in mud, or it can be like ice sometimes where you can slip on it and just whoosh, you're gone, you know. And I in fact did that on a day hike where I was filming the Trinity River and stepped down on a piece of mud and slipped and slid all the way down into the river, and it was kind of scary. But anyway, I got out and everything was okay, but I was worried about my son, of course, because we were going downhill, and I didn't want it to be too muddy and for him to lose his footing, because a lot of it was straight down and it would be into just like a pounding. I mean, the water was moving really fast, a lot of runoff when we were up there. And luckily we made it down. There was only one little area where it was kind of sketchy, and I actually hiked across it and took my pack off and came back out and stood in front of him with my trekking poles and blocked him. I actually hiked backwards so I could, you know, just make sure he was okay. And it was probably pretty dangerous for me, but, you know, I'd rather take the fall than him. And we had worked out what to do if I had slipped and fallen. I told him, you know, just follow the trail, go back down the mountain, go to the road where the car was, and he knew what to do. And he was actually quite capable. I was very impressed with how well he did for his first trip. And anyway, we got off the mountain safely and had just a great time. Went back to Leadville, had some cheeseburgers and everything, and, you know, hung out in Colorado another day or so before we came back. But that by far was my favorite trip, just because it was really special. You know, my son was there, it was beautiful, and I of course will leave a link to the hike if you guys want to check it out. And that's pretty much it for the hiking part. But quickly, I just want to say that I've been tagged in these videos before by Long Smiling Dawn Outdoors. Tagged me quite a while back on a video, and I never had a chance to make it. Blue Collar Backcountry tagged me in a video, and I didn't have a chance to make it, so I'd like to apologize to you guys. I appreciate you tagging me, and I wish I could have gotten those videos out. So thank you to the Texas Hikeaholics for tagging me in this one. And I guess this all started with Cameron at Ultralight Outdoors, who also a really cool channel. I've watched a lot of his stuff as well, the West Texas stuff, man. I tend to like a lot of these guys that do West Texas stuff, and I've never been out there, so I really need to get out there. But anyway, I'm supposed to tag some more people at the end of this, I guess, but I'm only going to tag one person, and that's my friend Todd Shelley, who I found out just started a new channel called Todd vs. Todd. And there's not many videos on there right now, but he just did a couple months ago the Outer Mountain Loop in West Texas, which I've been wanting to get out there for a long time. So he's the only person I'm going to tag in this one, because I've got another video coming out soon where I'm going to tag some other people and see if we can get another video like this going around. So anyway, Todd Shelley, it's on you. Todd versus Todd. So I'm interested to see what your favorite backpacking trip was. And anyway, I'll leave links to all that. Thanks again to the Texas Hikeaholics, and I'll leave a link to this video, and I'll see you guys somewhere on the trail. Take care.